We are so thrilled to have Father Jeff Kirby with us here at Catholic TV, the Vicar of Vocations for the Diocese of Charleston, South Carolina. And we were just discussing this, a graduate of the Pontifical North American College, ordained in 2007.
That's right.
Good to see you.
Thank
with
you.
you.
Good to be
Jeff,
with you, Father.
Thanks so
you.
much. Congratulations on your new book, your most recent book.
Yes. Really happy about that. Lord Teach Us to Pray, a kind of crash course on discipleship. So really happy about it. So.
And we're going to be airing some short pieces that kind of summarize the book, give people a little taste.
I like that. Good appetizers. Good.
There you go.
Good.
Maybe they'll buy it, which
right.
they should. I highly recommend it.
I would too. Right. Good.
Now, aside from being a priest and a good one, so I hear on the street, you have some very important work. You're the Vicar for Vocations, the Vocations Director, sometimes called. Yes. Great work, and you have some interesting news, which I didn't know, that ordinations are up according to a recent study.
That's right. The Center for Applied Research in the Apostolate, what we call CAR out of Georgetown University, it does a lot of our Pew research in the Catholic Church in the United States. And they told us that this summer we're going to have 595 men ordained to the priesthood. That's up 25%. So those are really good. That's very good news. Yes. And some other interesting things that we see in terms of the men who are going to be ordained. Before entering the seminary, 60% were receiving spiritual direction. 70% said they had devotion to the Eucharist and adoration, prayed the Rosary regularly. Interestingly, most of the men said they entered seminary because their parish priest invited them. 71%. Second were friends. Third were parishioners. The old ladies at Mass, they're right there. Fourth was mom and dad. So we have to work on the Christian family, but good numbers overall. So very happy.
My Archbishop, Cardinal Sean O'Malley, tells us all the time that vocations are everyone's business. And I take that personally because I was inspired by the priests in my parish. Perhaps you were as well. Yes. And certainly you mentioned a large percentage of guys have been. That puts a lot of pressure on us to make sure that we're doing our job well. Yes. If you know what I mean.
I do. The witness of the local priest is a huge factor in whether a young man says yes to the seminary. I think that as in holy matrimony, there's a natural generation. I think priests need to realize that in holy orders, there's a spiritual generation that the priest should seek to replace himself, and hopefully not just with one, and model the priestly life, so that the men who are called in his parish or in his ministry will look to him and say, well, if he can do it, I want to give it a shot.
Now, as Vicar for Vocations, you must have some kind of a strategy. You don't just go in at this willy-nilly, I suspect.
Exactly. In fact, Boston College 2 years ago held a Vocations Summit. Actually, Cardinal O'Malley gave an amazing talk. As the president of Boston College said, we have got to have a strategy. If we just shoot in the dark and think, well, we'll get lucky and we'll get this number or this person, or that doesn't work anymore. They're not coming to us. We have to have an organized strategy in order to go out and find the young men who are called to the priesthood, and let's say young women who are called to religious life, in order to encourage them and let them find their place. But there has to be a strategy. That strategy isn't just the traditional retreat or the fairly new discernment group. That strategy also has to involve what Pope Benedict called the cyber continent. So we have to be missionaries there too. We have to go to social media. We have to go to web design. We have to go to videography. What we could say in an hour meeting would be more received than a 3-minute video in today's generation. And we have to realize that. So, okay, this is a new means. And actually, once it's learned, it's an easier means to evangelize and to promote vocations. So, huge.
And also community. I've kind of a love-hate relationship with my memories of the seminary.
Sure.
It was hard, but it was also great because you live with all these guys, and sometimes some of us live alone, or we live with maybe one or two other guys, and that community that we enjoy in whatever level is very important to us. I'm fascinated by something that you have in your diocese that we don't have, and it's called Drexel House. Can you explain that? Yes,
we're really happy about that. The facilities were actually a former convent for the Oblate Sisters of Divine Providence, which was one of the only religious orders for African American women, one of the few that was founded and run by them, in terms of evangelization in the United States. So it was their convent for over 100 years. We converted to a men's residence. You can imagine that, taking a convent and turning it to a men's residence. So it involved putting up a lot of large screen TVs and
Sure.
couches and various, But what it is, it's a Catholic residence. It's not a discernment house. I know many dioceses have discernment houses, and that's one model. It can be very helpful in vocations. But we wanted to go into a whole different realm and much broader. This is a Catholic residence. So young adult men, ages 20 to 35, oftentimes are finishing studies, beginning a career, or starting a new career, if they're kind of shifting and so on. And they're coming to live in community, allowing prayer and faith and virtue to be a part of their life. So they come and say, there's a lot of stuff out there. I don't want that to be a part of this part of my life right now. I want to know Jesus Christ better. I want to live in a community. So they live together. They pray each of the hours. They have meals together, have a holy hour together. They form a community.
And this was all your brainchild, wasn't it? I mean, I don't mean to put you on the spot.
Sure. Well, we cut and paste it. We always kind of steal.
Yeah,
it's
sure.
like, sacred tradition, holy thievery, But yeah, no, we put it all together, and my bishop was very supportive of it, because it is a gamble. It's a use of resources and so on, and for a broader vision,
Yeah, sure.
But I constantly say, and I'm a firm believer, that believing needs belonging. And if we don't belong, believing is very difficult, especially in the young adult generation. So, huge. Yeah.
There's so much that we could talk about. We'd love to have you back again. I know that you're going to be appearing in some short pieces about your book, Let Us Pray. If you could just give us a quick overview of the book, and also where people can find out about your ministry, Drexel House, the book, and so much more.
Excellent. The book is basically a collection of 4 years of vocations work to help young men and women learn how to pray, to be good disciples of the Lord, to practice virtue with Christ's Spirit. So really a crash course, kind of plumber's manual of the spiritual life, the practicals, it's published by St. Benedict's Press, but also my website, frkirby.com, has all the information, as well as more information about the Drexel House, discernment, prayer, a lot of good stuff we try to put on that website. So.
Honest to God, whenever you're in this area, you have to stop by.
Great.
So that we can continue this chat, because
wonderful.
The work of Vocations, as I said, Cardinal Sean says, is the work of all of us, and so we need to talk more and more about this and be promoters of vocations to the priesthood, religious life, the diaconate. So come back again, would
Wonderful.
you?
Good. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate
We're going to
it.
go back now to more of This Is the Day, so don't go away.